Hello everyone, welcome to Prime Business. I am Pius Kujubaka. Head of Corporate Communications at Ghana Gas, Kirk Mensah, has assured Ghanaians that the Atuabo gas processing plant is back to full operation, adding that there is no cause for alarm. He noted that the plant is ready to produce gas for the country. Mr. Mensah further revealed that government is set to begin work on a second processing plant which will help provide relatively cheaper electricity for Ghanaians. He's been speaking to Joy Business.
I want to categorically state to all Ghanaians and all relevant stakeholders that Ghana Gas Processing Plant is back on stream. We are processing and we are safe. We are going to produce for electricity consumption and industrial growth. There's no cause for alarm. The plant is safe. Everything is on course. The current administration, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is very much committed to start the second processing plant. You know, this project is long overdue. Unfortunately, it didn't materialize. And the President and the Minister of Energy are very much committed. There was a technical committee to review whatever works that done previously, and they have finished their report and they have submitted to Cabinet. If not for the tragedy that befell us as a country, I think by now we would have known the timelines. So within the shortest possible time, I think when Cabinet meets, they will give us the timeline for the commencement of the second processing plant. And I know a lot of Ghanaians are waiting impatiently for this project because it's going to give us jobs, it's going to give us relatively cheaper electricity, and it's going to open door for industrial growth.
More on power, energy. The Electricity Company of Ghana's Training Center in Tema is stepping up efforts to strengthen the country's energy workforce through a strategic partnership with US-based power solution firm. Now, the collaboration, officials say, will not only modernize technical training, but also position Ghanaian engineers to match global standards in the power sector. More in this report.
The Electricity Company of Ghana Training Center in Tema has hosted a crucial technical training session, bringing together engineers from Ghana's energy sector across generation, transmission, and distribution sector. The one-day program was organized in collaboration with Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories, a global leader in power system protection and automation. The training exposed participants to cutting-edge technologies in substation automation, renewable energy integration, and advanced fault detection techniques. With practical demonstrations, experts from Schweitzer emphasized how innovative tools can enhance efficiency, reliability, and safety in Ghana's power distribution network. Here is sales manager for East and West Africa for Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories, State Sharma.
The losses that are on the primary side of things, like transformer losses or transmission losses as such, cannot be directly controlled by our offering, but we can assist in reducing the transmission losses by fast fault clearing and early restoration. So this is the technology that we are offering. And in fact, we are also discussing with some of the distribution utilities here about we have something called reclosing on the distribution network. So if you clear a fault quick and reclose, you can it is possible to use an alternate power source for faulted part of the grid. So there are ways of doing it. We also have something called remedial action schemes, which can be helpful for preventing and mitigating blackouts.
Meanwhile, Director of ECG Training Center, Engineer Godfred Mensah, says such training will augment existing programs for engineers and technicians.
You know, SEL, their product is for ensuring network reliability. But at the training center here, we've got various courses that we run for engineers and technicians aimed at reducing technical losses in our various networks. And this year, for instance, we started offering this type of program too, women engineers in ECG. So almost all the women engineers in ECG, they've gone through this technical loss reduction training programs. And we hope and pray that as they get back to their various places of work, they'll be able to apply this knowledge to their day-to-day work to be able to bring down the level of technical losses in our various utilities.
As part of the agreement, Schweitzer will provide training equipment and support online as well as in-person courses, giving engineers hands-on experience in areas such as power protection, control, and automation.
Away from power-related stories, Manager of Macroeconomic Research at GCB Bank PLC, Courage Buti, is optimistic the cedi will remain stable in the coming days. Speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Buti acknowledged the recent depreciation of the local currency, but believes it is temporary, nothing, noting that the Bank of Ghana's recent regulatory measures targeting forex trading are unlikely to exert any significant long-term pressure on the cedi.
The last time I spoke to you, I was certain that what we are seeing may appear like volatility, but it's to be expected. It's seasonal in nature. We see this thing year after year around this period, and especially given the level of correction we've seen in the cedi, I expect, and I think it's reasonable to expect that there will be some actions on the markets to try to test the resolve. And that is where we are. And of course, given the Bank of Ghana stance now on documentation and the strictness in enforcing the rules around FS trade and all that, these things happening are to be expected. It is when the cedi moves back into regions like 14, there about that will be concerned. But for me, anything in the region of lower to mid 12 to $1 is a fair value for the cedi. And these dynamics would have to happen until we find a fair value. So for me, I'm totally comfortable with the dynamics now. And I think the liquidity coming into the banking system will support that kind of discovering fair value.
Ghana and Peru are charting new paths to deepen trade and investment. At the Peru-Ghana Trade and Investment webinar in Accra, both countries pledged stronger collaboration in agribusiness and sustainable mining. Speaking at the webinar, Peru's ambassador to Ghana, Lithina Gomez, says the Peru-Ghana partnership is opening fresh opportunities in trade and investment. More in this report.
The Peru-Ghana Trade and Investment webinar addressed by the Peru's ambassador to Ghana, Liliana Gomez, brought together business leaders and policymakers to explore opportunities between the two nations. She highlighted Peru's access to billions of consumers through global free trade agreements and noted that Ghana's strategic position could serve as a gateway to West Africa, making the partnership mutually beneficial.
Peru and Ghana share values and in a long-standing relationship. Now we want to continue on putting an extra step by joining efforts so our businessmen could know each other and that could share their knowledge. Peru has signed free trade agreements that will allow to take us to a large number of consumers that could be named in billions.
She also revealed that a memorandum of understanding for political consultations has been signed, with the first meeting scheduled in 2 weeks.
We recently have signed a memorandum of understanding for political consultations that is going to the first meeting is going to take place in 2 weeks. And it will be an opportunity to get together in a large variety of topics, one of them being economic issues.
The Director of Economic Trade and Investment Bureau at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nanakra Ansaije, commended the growing bilateral relations and called for deeper collaboration.
Both Ghana and Peru possess immense potential and complementary strengths that can be unlocked for our mutual benefit. We invite Peruvian private sector with expertise in irrigation and cold chain logistics to collaborate with Ghana in the area of agribusiness, agro-processing for local consumption to ensure food security. With the lucrative incentives in automobile assembly sector in Ghana, we ask Peru business sectors and entities to establish joint ventures for assembly and parts manufacturing.
With political consultations set to begin in 2 weeks, Ghana and Peru say the webinar marks the beginning of stronger partnerships in agribusiness, mining, and technology transfer to drive sustainable growth.
The Ghanaian informal sector is seemingly closed to external market forces, including international trade and import competition due to issues of quality and standard. The sector, which usually produces new or self-constructed products and services, are rarely imported, leaving players in limited trade spaces. More in this report.
Despite the size, the informal sector has long been characterized by challenges spanning from inconsistent standards, low productivity, and limited integration into formal economic systems. This is closing Ghana's opportunities on the global market. Founder and president of Design and Technology Institute, Constance Swanika, highlights the essence of prioritizing the informal sector as a block to hold the Ghanaian economy.
When we look at even the role of the African Free Trade Continental Agreement, even when it comes to exports, the currency is always standards. And so if you're able to meet international standards, then really you can also look at regional markets before we even look at international markets. Right now there's a big demand for African products, but it must go through a standards test.
In recognition of this standard gap, the Design and Technology Institute introduced the Precision Quality at Work initiative that has trained and graduated 1,500 artisans cut across technical and vocational industries. The intervention seeks to enable beneficiaries and their enterprises to operate with professionalism, deliver products and services that meet world-class standards.
These are master craftsmen who typically would have the skill sets, but when it comes to issue around quality assurance and standard, it's completely missing. And so what we focused on were issues around doing things to meet global standards. And so for the informal sector who really see that their market is not just local but regional, internationally, this is a big boost, and I'm very pleased to see that some of the informal companies that we've trained already have started looking at export, and some of them actually have started exporting as well.
Project coordinator for the Design and Technology Institute, Mohit Shamar, touted the initiative's inclusive quest to improve operations of the informal sector.
Expecting up to 60 to 70% of women coming in and participating here. But as we talk, up to 90% of the participants are female. So that indicates how the females are forthcoming, also understanding the need and the requirement of quality, formalization, and also about enhancing their businesses. Another thing that we see is that many of them are coming with their kids, the newborns and the kids, but most of them have completed 3 days of training. The training is for 3 days, so attendance has been 100%. So we find that the expectation was something, but we have seen more than what was expected.
Beneficiaries say that training has already impacted their businesses with the adoption of quality precision coaches.
And it has impacted my business so much. First, I got to understand how important getting customer feedbacks are. And so now I don't joke with it at all. And for the first time, my attention was drawn to the fact that I should have a first aid. That was something I didn't even have at my business. My business is improving just by attending this training. And I hope to grow more, employ more people.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
In a bid to enhance financial literacy, Salam Alliance has unveiled the Salam Alliance Financial Education Campaign to create awareness through accessible and appropriate financial drives in order to build trust in claims payment. Speaking at the launch, Chief Executive Officer and the country lead of Salam Alliance Life Insurance Ghana Limited, Teya Ben Ahmed, said the campaign aligns with the country's growing need for informed financial decision-making. More in this report. The Sanlam Alliance Financial Education Campaign will offer intensive financial training to traders in the informal sector, especially for tailors, dressmakers, food vendors, hairdressers, among others, for 3 months. Speaking to Joy Business, Chief Executive Officer and also the country lead of Sanlam Alliance Life Insurance Ghana Limited, Teya Ben Ahmed, said the move is to support financial education and insurance awareness in the country.
We need to support insurance awareness creation. We need to support trust in insurance. We need to support confidence in insurance. from a place of helping Ghanaians understand more about finance and insurance generally. So what we're doing is not about Sanlam Alliance selling products. It's not about Sanlam Alliance coming to say we have this product for you, we have that product for you. No. What we want to help Ghana do is for every Ghanaian to be able to understand basics of finance and why insurance plays a very critical role in finance, so that we can make financial decisions that will help us build a life of confidence.
Chief Executive Officer, who is also the Managing Director of Sanlam Alliance General Insurance Ghana Limited, Mabel Nananya Kwam-Poble, said both government and private sector players must continue to design and support initiatives such as this financial literacy campaign to deepen knowledge around basic financial and insurance concepts to improve general quality of life.
We believe this is different because we've done it with the people. And we won't just end it with the end of the workshop. We have evaluation mechanisms. It is a long-term thing, so the participants will follow through on the participants to see how are you implementing what you've learned, how are you using it to make better decisions in your businesses or in your personal lives, how are you changing how you've done business over the period. So it doesn't end with the end of the workshop. We have the evaluation and monitoring processes to make sure that the impact is felt. And we are going to measure. We have an impact analysis that we will measure over the 3 to 6 months period.
On her part, Commissioner of the National Insurance Commission, Dr. Abiba Zakaria, lauded the initiative and stressed the importance of intensifying insurance education.
So this agenda is in the right direction, because the majority of those whom we cannot reach in terms of geographical accessibility or even product accessibility form about 80% or more of the population of Ghana. So if we want insurance to make an impact in this economy or in this country, then we must reach that other group that have not been reached. And what Salam seeks to do is what will reach them, the group we call the underserved in the insurance industry.
Meanwhile, Sanlam Alliance says the financial literacy campaign is part of the company's efforts to bridge the insurance gap. For many years, residents of Akwemu-Pesi in the Esojaman district of the Eastern region faced water challenges which affected their health and, to a larger extent, their economic conditions. The lack of potable water led to the outbreak of guinea worm infestation. The situation has now changed as part of Hydro Cooperative Credit Union's corporate social responsibility impact projects. Kofi Sian reports.
Akwemu-Pesi is one of the many towns in the Esojaman district of the Eastern region with high poverty rates and limited access to credit, hindering its economic self-reliance. The lack of certain basic social facilities has over the years contributed to increasing health risk and poor economic reliance. Residents, however, can now heave some sigh of relief following the sinking of a mechanized borehole water system by Hydro Cooperative Credit Union in fulfillment of a request by the Adontenhema of the area, Abrewa Entwiwa. Otwe Sum Osainyambon the Fifth, who is the Kamnahine of Akwemu traditional area, welcome the team from Hydro Cooperative Credit Union, expressed satisfaction with the work of the Hydro Cooperative Credit Union. Due to the provision of the mechanized water system, community folks will no longer travel long distances looking for water for domestic and economic use.
Is it that bad? It's never been good. We depended on streams for water sources. Water, there are a lot of diseases which are waterborne. But when you have a good borehole, it eradicates or eliminates all the waterborne diseases. So indeed, we are very grateful to the credit union because they've taken away a big chunk of our worries.
At the commissioning of the facility, chairperson of the interim management committee at Hydro Credit Union, Vivian Mante, stated that the commission is committed to supporting underserved communities by bridging their social and economic gaps.
It's our responsibility to see their needs and bridge those gaps. Pipe-borne water to help them in the community. Decided to come and make this as you have seen it. So to help the community, want to eradicate those things and to give them this type of water will give them health. And that is the main reason why we rushed to come and do this for them.
Former board chairman Joseph Asare-Keteku says the Hydro Credit Union values the importance of corporate social responsibility, hence will continue to execute more projects in their catchment communities.
Corporate social responsibility is one of the cardinal principles which the Hydro Cooperative Credit Union holds dear. And over the years, we've been able to support our communities in terms of education, health, and community amenities. Since the inception of this union, we have sustained our corporate social responsibility. We started in 1971, and year by year, if you look at our financial report, you would see the component of expenditure in terms of corporate social responsibility. So it has been sustained over the period till date.
Members presented pieces of the union's gloves to the chiefs and elders of the community in appreciation of their immense support to the credit union.
Thanks so much for being part of Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo-Baka. We have more for you when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I leave you with Commodities Update.